You talking about eating cat?
Yeah. And so we had to go, my roommate and I had to go to the end of the line and get all the change for the bus. Well, his stop was before the end of the line.
You were on a streetcar at that.
Yeah. We were on a streetcar.
Yeah, you
Next
were.
day after the bus. And so he and his friend got off when we got home. And so he said to my roommate, oh, he asked me for my phone number. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't give it to you. We haven't been properly introduced. So he turned to my roommate and he said, I'm John Charlie. Now introduce us.
That's funny.
Smooth.
That was the beginning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quick thinking on his part, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was, at that time, 19.
And he was what, 20? 21?
2021.
Was the
Because
war?
I was 20 and he was 22 when we got married.
This was after he got out of, he was just out of the army.
Yeah, he was just out of there.
Oh,
Was he still in uniform then?
No, he was but he had to go back to Ohio, an airfield in Ohio, to await discharge after I met
Okay.
him. Because I had the letters from him from Ohio.
All right.
Oh, nice. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it must have been meant to be, I guess. I mean, a city like Washington, how would you expect to run into him again like that?
So what you guys do on your first date?
What did we, I think we went to a movie. And I had my first Chinese food, he took me to. But I never had Chinese food. Little girl from the hills of West Virginia, I never had Chinese. I thought shrimp were worms. Imagine, worms.
He introduced you to chili.
No, there was this,
Chili Mac.
chili mac,
I love chili mac.
but it was too spicy for me. I wasn't used to spicy.
Now,
Now I love
Yeah, you're the
spicy.
spicy person.
he couldn't handle it
You guys
anymore.
After he had his gallbladder surgery, he couldn't handle hot spicy.
Wow.
And I loved it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
still do.
You had to add the extra, pass the hot sauce to Bob.
Yeah. I love hot and spicy.
He liked it, he didn't like you back.
That's right.
Those times though were so different. I mean, I shouldn't say this. I mean, like, to me, it's like I think nostalgically about that time, and I know that was a rough time. But I think, like, my mom used to say, I would never want to have grown up in another time, even though it was so hard. You know, like, you guys went through the Depression and then the World War. But she said, I would never.
What year was your mother born?
1925.
She was the same age as my husband.
Okay.
He was born in 27.
Okay, and my dad was 23, so they were a little bit older.
But it was during the Depression.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember one year we had a drought during the Depression. Nothing grew. Corn only got about this small.
Well,
And we kept depending on our garden
Yeah.
a lot. And for food, my mother, we had green onions. Of course, we had cows and chickens, so we had eggs and, milk. And she cut up green onions and made and milk and a thickening. Made something like that for us to eat. That's what we had to eat.
she was pretty resourceful.
Oh,
Your
yeah, she was.
mom.
Thank goodness.
We
Yeah.
had, we had to carry our water, pump the water and carry buckets of water down the hill.
Good thing there were a lot of kids.
Yeah. We brought firewood in from the woods, dragging along under each arm, the kids did. And my mom chopped along with my father. Was not very good. He was more intellectual historian type.
And yet he worked in rock quarries and
Yeah,
stuff.
he did. He
Yeah.
He did some hard labor, that
But he
man
wasn't
did.
suited for it, but he did it.
He did what he
Support
had to
his
do.
family.
Kept the
He used
family
to walk
together.
miles when he didn't have a car. He built that bridge over the Opequon on the 7th,
Yep.
going to Inwood. The one that we called the Hilly Road.
He worked at that big limestone quarry there.
Yeah.
That'd be like a heck of a
Right,
job.
yeah.
I mean, I think that'd be an awful job to have to do that.
And actually, the last job he had, he worked for this rayon factory. Rayless, was that what it was called? And,
A radon?
rayon, yeah, well, they made
Rayon.
manufactured rayon factory.
Radon.
Yeah, and he measured out the chemicals and took them to the different stations. And they didn't wear masks or anything and protect
Oh
themselves.
man.
Yeah.
He actually died of poisoning from that. Yeah.
Did he?
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, that's what killed him.
Like
But anyway, they
cancer?
let him go. Virginia is notorious for not having, they have what
They
you call
didn't
a right
have,
to
what
work
was the,
law.
they did the
Oh.
Fair Labor Act or something?
Right to
Yeah.
work law.
Right to
Where you not join the union, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, they let him go right before he was to retire.
Oh.
So they didn't have to pay him a pension.
That's awful.
Yeah, it was.
Gosh.
It was.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So
So
We're
he
kinda
was
back
kind
to
of
that a
bitter,
bit.
wasn't he? A little bitter, no wonder.
we could get back to
They're
it.
doing that now, firing people before they retire.
Yeah, we're,
That way
we're
they don't
seeing
have to
that
pay
in the
him.
schools now.
That way they can not pay him a pension.
Yeah, that's happening in our schools now because in Wisconsin, our union.
You understand?
Oh, okay.
Well, in the winter, where are you gonna dry them if you don't have a dryer? You don't have, it's cold weather and bad weather and,
Yeah.
I mean, you only washed what you had to have. And she would, the salesman would come around selling washing machines that were gasoline powered. And Mom would take them on, you know, as a trial. And then after she washed up all her clothes, she would call and tell them she didn't want to buy it after all.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And she did that a couple times.
I can't imagine hand washing clothes.
Yep.
I mean, that has to be one of the hardest.
Well, she had a
jobs,
wood
I would
cook
think.
stove.
Yeah.
She baked bread and that. She did everything in her wood cook stove.
Oh, yeah.
And,
You had a side
and,
tank.
and for a
that you filled
bath,
with
when I
water
was
and gave you hot water.
when I stayed
What's
over
that?
there
The cook stove had a tank on the side.
for hot water,
For hot
and,
water.
and they had a big, wash tub, and she'd hang up a blanket on the clothesline with clothespins and pour you a bath, and you'd go have your bath.
Wow,
Jeez.
it's like olden days.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
that's-
I thought it was just
Sure,
cooler
that's
than
really
cool when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
yeah, that would be.
I came home and said my grandma could do anything.
Well, I agree. I think she could too.
Yeah, I was so
Wonder Woman.
awestruck and impressed with her.
Yeah.
One time Gail went with Dick. They stopped by to see her, and she was up on the roof patching her roof.
That reminds me of my grandma's sister. She'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how old was she then?
Well, I don't know, but we
Too
were all
old to
grown
be
up.
doing that.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was.
She
Yeah.
had to be in her 70s.
How long did she live?
She would have been 81 in November, and she died in July.
And she was supposedly had rheumatic fever and was too sickly.
My
To go
grandma
to
was
school.
kind of like that.
They
My
took her
grandma
Really?
to
Anderson.
school when she was in the 4th grade
Oh wow.
Huh.
because of her heart.
They told my grandma that she
She
had such a
educated
bad
herself
heart.
though. She read. Boy, she
Yeah,
was
she was
just a
educated.
tremendous
But
reader.
my
I didn't know
grandma
that.
lived to,
And
you
not,
know,
not
in her
only that, she
90s.
was great at math.
Yeah.
She could tell you the answer, but she couldn't tell you how to get it. How she
Yeah,
got it, but she could tell you the answer.
She could do
Anyway.
sums and figures. And
We
that.
all of us were on the honor roll. We were never told that we had to be or anything, or encouraged to be. It was just expected.
Yeah,
We were expected to be.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were never praised for it or anything like that. It was just expected.
Yeah.
Well, that was my status in school. I mean, I wasn't the best dressed or anything like that, but it was my grades.
Well,
And how many in school
Mom
was it?
gave up on
How
dress
many in school?
design because she didn't
Oh,
want
well, I'm
geometry.
talking about high school now, but
Right.
in grade school, we had 8 grades in one room.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
funny, isn't it?
Remember me
That's-
coming from
That's insane.
grandmother's parents' day and telling them about that?
Yeah.
I think it was your class. that
Yeah,
did.
I remember that.
8 grades in one, and one teacher,
Wow.
and 8 grades in high school, one room schoolhouse. And it had a pot-bellied stove that was coal-fired for heat. And the boys carried the coal in from the coal shed where the coal was stored. And we had to carry water from a pump for the school. We had a bucket with a dipper, and we each brought our own cup from home to drink from. And the stove used to get so hot, it would be red.
Wow.
The iron in it would be red. And the fumes from it used to give me a headache.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it was not. So we had a little
Wow.
stage on the one-room school. We had a blackboard.
Did you have to mine the coal?
No, we didn't have to.
Just kidding.
The boys had to fill a coal bucket and bring it in.
They could have though.
Right.
She could have. Yeah.
No child labor laws and all.
And
Oh,
They all picked apples.
I picked apples, I picked cherries,
Yep.
I thinned peaches.
Whole family would go do that.
Yeah.
when
But
the
I
fruit
have this
was in.
scar on my leg, you know, I've been asked about when I had the surgery, this scar. Of course, it was when my brothers and I were stealing cherries.
Stealing them?
Well, there's
Uh-huh.
a cherry
She
orchard
didn't
that.
tell us you was stealing.
There was a cherry
Borrowing
orchard
them.
that bordered our property, and when the cherries were ripe, but before the orchard opened for picking, we would go and get just enough for my mother to make a cherry cobbler. And my two brothers and I, Gilbert and Waldo and I. And had been raining and the ground was slippery. There was a barbed wire fence we had to crawl. Oh, I had to, climb over.
Right.
And my foot slipped on the wet ground and I cut my leg on the
Oh, man.
fence.
wow.
But I still got a scar.
Wow.
But doctors have asked me that, and I said, "You sure you want to know?" I was stealing cherries.
I have to confess.
Did you get
And then
caught?
when it opened, we all went to pick. And we picked cherries for our mother to can. We didn't get paid for them. We took them to so many gallons home. And then we picked for money.
Oh. Cherries are kind of fun to pick. I like picking cherries, but I'm sure if you're doing it for a job, it's not so fun.
But then, since our friend Francis Wagner and I, we went to Bogger's Orchard up near where Ann lives and picked cherries, 4 cherries.
I used to go to this place up north, but
And we went to a place to pick
Cincinnati.
blackberries too, like that. Yeah.
I like to
Pick,
pick blueberries a lot. Now, while we're gone, I think is major strawberry.
Did I say
picking time.
blackberries? I meant blueberries.
Blueberries, yeah. I
They're
love
running
to pick
late, though.
blueberries. Yeah, they are right now. I
Are
see
they right?
pictures.
You've heard?
But
Yeah.
when we get back, I hope Gary goes with me this year again to pick
I
blueberries.
had Gwen or Ann, Gwen and Dale, I've already, she had already done one, but she was out hanging up clothes and I was 3 years old. And I told you, I saw fire. I came and told her there was fire on the ceiling. My father was working a night shift and he was sleeping right above the kitchen.
You were 3?
I was 3, yeah.
Wow.
Mine goes,
And I told her the fire was on the ceiling.
mine's 19.
My father escaped, but he blistered his feet and singed his hair. But he survived. Shortly after that, he lost his job. He was totally depression. Shortly after that, he lost his job.
In
So
the mine?
we kids were farmed out to relatives. My grandparents lived in the area at that time. And my mother's brother and his wife and family, we were farmed out between them. Until my mother found us house that was empty. We didn't know who owned it. Turned out it was 2 retired school teachers from Washington. When they came to check on the place and found us living there. We'd already been living there a number of years before they came. And then they charged us $7 a month rent.
$7.
Wow.
It was 176 acres. And we had cows and chickens and pigs and turkeys and ducks and name it.
Wow.
Horses.
So then you guys actually owned the land though later?
Not there. We did eventually. My brothers and my husband and I bought it.
Oh, okay, that's when you
Yeah.
bought it.
Yeah.
So before that, it really wasn't bought, it was like you guys just kind of lived there.
Well, we had moved out a long time ago.
Yeah.
They bought a place and they moved out. But it was empty. Yeah, it's gone now. That's the one I hooked at everybody. You did on the. Were you at that reunion? Yeah, I think you were. With my sister June got it.
I was. I remember.
That reminds me, I wanted to do we could do some rough hooking with those horses,
Yeah.
Gary's horses.
Oh yeah. I got
Mom
that.
was telling me about